The Slender Man. It used to be a commonly brought up subject when I was a kid. People were flipping out over this obscure character that was posted on Something Awful all the way back in 2009. There were a bunch of games, Let's Players pissing their pants over shitty attempts at jump scares, shitty movies, more shitty movies, and a fucking attempted murder of a kid by her friends because they wanted to appease the Slender Man. Oh god. We're off to a great start, I see. This leads us into the Slender ARG community on YouTube, who all make stories surrounding the character Slender Man. ARGs, or alternate reality games, are interactive narratives that utilize the real world and its media as its platform. It uses the participation of other people to potentially alter the story, its emphasis of course being a sense of realism due to the story being altered in real time. Community interaction is often utilized through Twitter accounts, live streams, and people in the comment section playing along as if they're actually in the story itself. The Slender ARG community in particular has plenty of variety. The most notable, however, are the Big Five, those being Marble Hornets, TribeTwelve, Everyman Hybrid, Dark Harvest, and ML Anderson. Since you clicked on this video, you know that TribeTwelve is the subject today. TribeTwelve was created by Adam Rosner, who plays the main character Noah Maxwell. As of now, TribeTwelve is the second most popular Slender ARG series and was, emphasis on was, still continuing after a decade of content being uploaded. We'll talk about the rather unfortunate events later on, but now let's focus on TribeTwelve the series itself. I'll have Jay start us off.
As was stated before, there was the Big Five, but before the Big Five there was the Big Three. Not to take away anything from the Dark Harvest or ML Anderson Zero, but both of these series were discovered a bit later after the Big Three were already making the rounds around the web. Marble Hornets of course being the one that started the video entry trend within at the time an infant Slenderman community, primarily concentrating on storytelling, which in result skyrocketed the Slenderman's popularity across the web, which would naturally lead to others trying their hand at what Marble Hornets was doing. Then came Everyman Hybrid, probably the only one out of the Big Three that utilized the ARG aspect of the Slenderman mythos to their fullest, involving their audiences through streams, comments, and actual real-life clues that people would hunt for in order to progress the story. The bar was raised from simple storytelling to full-blown audience involvement. However, because of this, some would criticize Everyman Hybrid's story hard to follow, considering their story was splattered across various social media websites like Twitter, Tumblr, and etc. A good balance was needed between Marble Hornet's story-heavy entries and Everyman Hybrid's audience involvement, and that balance was created in the form of TribeTwelve. Created on the 5th of June of 2010, holy fucking shit I'm old, TribeTwelve has a rough start, outright copying the beginning of Marble Hornets, to the atrocious acting that was on display by the MacGuffin of the whole story, Milo.
You okay, man?
We gotta go now.
What the heck, man? Dude, don't go run off on me like that!
However, a significant shift occurs once the series begins to move away from the intro submissions, and the main protagonist, Noah, begins to investigate what happened to his friend Milo. At that point, the acting begins to get way better, specifically on Noah's part, who grows from this sort of bored and detached observer into a guy who is truly going through some fucked up shit.
Who is this? The fuck is this?
And allows him to express a range of emotions like anger, fear, and an endless amount of annoyed sarcasm.
Who sent you?
Do you know how fucking far I had to travel? How much goddamn money I had to fucking dish out to get my ass out here? Do you even fucking care about what's happening to me?
Hand over the camera.
Okay, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck your cult, and fuck this whole fucking meeting. I'm out of here. You can oversee my ass walking away.
Which not only makes things believable, but also helps to endear him as a character to the audience, making people get invested in how things go on from there. Another standout thing about TribeTwelve was its presentation. Graphically speaking, out of the Big Three and even Five, this was the series that utilized its special effects to its fullest. Everything from props to CG to creative filmmaking allowed it to not only bring the Slenderman to life like no other series before or even after it, it allowed the author to outright create entire dimensions within his own series that the main character would regularly be forced to hop through. The bar was raised like none other.
Ah!
But of course, the driving force was the before-mentioned balance. The story was complex but not difficult to follow, mainly because every plot point would end up connecting to a previous or future entry, never leaving behind plot holes, which showed that the author had a crazy amount of foresight when writing this story, which is impressive because the story tended to hop all over the place with alternate universe travel, time travel, and even a live stream. In the end, it would all connect one way or the other. As for the ARG aspect, even though it wasn't as crazy as Everyman Hybrids was, it still featured some aspects of it. The before mentioned livestream where the main character would interact with his audiences was just one of the few examples. One of the coolest things about TribeTwelve was the fact that the author was willing to incorporate other people's works that were created around the Slender Man myth into his own story. The earliest sign of this was in his Grandpa Carl entry where Noah's German grandfather refers to the Slender Man as der Grossmann.
Dann war es, wir sahen ihn, der große Mann, war blass und dünn.
Which is a reference to a creepypasta that was written up on Something Awful forums, same place where Slendy was created. The creepypasta was about a mythical creature that was spotted in 16th century Germany that was very similar to the Slender Man in its description. This led a lot of people to believe that it was a genuine historical reference to the Slender Man and would give TribeTwelve's version of Slenderman more weight. The author was clearly dedicated and involved in the quickly growing Slenderman phenomenon, which would lead him to eventually cross over with various other creators like the guys from Dark Harvest and Everyman Hybrid, to outright making one of the antagonists of Everyman Hybrid, Habit, a reoccurring character in his own series, all to further raise the stakes of his own story to great effect. Probably the most admirable thing about TribeTwelve is the fact that you can actually see the author behind this creation grow artistically as the series would go on. Every entry promised some kind of mindfucky bullshit to happen that would captivate your attention and embed it in your memory until the next entry would be released, making it easy for you to keep on following the story. Something that couldn't be said for Marble Hornet's often droning and boring entries where nothing happened, or Everyman Hybrid's hard-to-follow story due to how all over the place it could get. Kinda sucks that the author turned out to be a piece of shit though.
TribeTwelve is pretty much cancelled outright due to the number of allegations being thrown at the creator, Adam Rosner. A quick disclaimer, none of what I'm about to discuss has been proven in a court of law, and Adam Rosner has not been proven guilty to anything I'm about to list in accordance with the law. Of the allegations, there are several instances of child grooming, sexual contact with minors, fetishization of minors, and sexual assault. Alright, so I've spent a bit of time looking through the allegations leveled at Adam, and for the most part I believe them to be true. Keeping in mind when these sorts of situations occur, it's always best to give it some time before more potential information comes out, and the individuals accused respond to whatever is leveled against them. In short, give a situation some time. And for this, there definitely has been time. But yes, this is one of those kinds of situations. An artist with a level of respected talent makes a good piece of work that is well received, and the artist themselves turns out to, be a piece of shit later on. Of course, we look at the art, not the artist, when discussing TribeTwelve the series. It just sucks to know that something you like has had its reputation tarnished due to the immoral actions of its creator. Initially, the whole fiasco started with this individual, Eve, discussing her experience with Adam. The initial thread reads, "Alright guys, I don't know who all can see this, but I've made the decision to finally speak about it. When I was 15, my favorite YouTuber attempted to groom me. I've had trust issues over the years due to this, and it has messed with the way I perceive YouTubers in general. I know I'm going to be inviting all sorts of trouble talking about this, but it needs to be said. This man is still popular with a big audience of children. I've been afraid to speak out for years and for a long time considered just ignoring it. Of course, I only ever experienced an attempted grooming, but despite I was still manipulated for personal and financial gain, and don't know if said YouTuber has changed his ways or what. All I know is that I never got justice for what happened to me. Fuck, I really don't know why I'm beating around the bush or what the proper thing to do here is, but it's TribeTwelve. The creator, Adam Rosner, is the person who tried to freaking groom me. I am in no way trying to incite violence or any other form of action. I went to the authorities to report him over a year ago and nothing came of it. Nothing ever comes to freaking fruition. It's like anything over the internet isn't real enough. We're in the worst time for kids to be online, there's little to no protection." The thread then led to another Twitter post and then dumping conversations between Eve and Adam. These conversations displayed a rather disturbing pattern of behavior, from trying to meet up with this, at the time, a 15-year-old girl, and in general just being an absolute creep. After these logs were dropped, a number of other people also came out with their own statements, which you can see in this Reddit compilation thread that I will link in the description. Thanks to the statement from Nick Nocturne of Nightmind, we have a pretty good summary of what's been leveled against Adam to understand what we're dealing with in full. I believe the allegations entirely, of which there are many, and they suggest a pattern of behavior witnessed and testified to through public statements by not only several of the claimants, but those who knew Adam personally. Of these allegations, there are 3 instances of allegations of sexual or romantic contact with underage girls. One at the age of 15 with screenshot evidence of romantic pursuit and interest in meeting even after establishment of the fact that she was 15 years old, and continued screenshot evidence of an abusive relationship thereafter. One at the age of 17 during the same general time span as the previous, with physical contact at ShadowCon, allegations of sexually explicit photos sent to the minor, allegations of sexually explicit phone conversations with the minor, and allegations of willfully accepting one of the minor's personal shirts in the mail. One 15-year-old girl at MegaCon, physical contact initiated. Allegations of sexually explicit contact online at multiple points during the ages of 16 and 17. In addition to this, we have 2 instances of sexual abuse allegations with women of legal age. One coercion to intoxication of a years-long friend, followed by sexual assault of that friend after very clear statements about not wanting sexual contact. One count of date rape that may be as recent as 2019, information released in a recorded phone call that Adam was made aware was being recorded in November of 2020, after allegations broke out in September. There are more allegations of sexual misconduct and mistreatment of TribeTwelve fans that have been made, all of which fit a pattern of described behavior. I believe the claims, I believe the victims. I also know the amount of people Adam abused back in September, and the moment these allegations first came to light, they were friends of his, the ones who trusted him, and I was one. Nick's statement on the matter is much longer than this, but I have no reason to believe that anything he states is untrue. On top of all of these allegations, though, there are also several instances of these supposed Facebook exports from Adam. I'm not 100% sure about the legitimacy of these screenshots because they apparently come from an anonymous source that I was not able to find the identity of, but there are further accusations, apparently, that Adam is into, incest and zoophilia.
I'm kinda into bestiality, mainly specific species though. Something about certain animals just rustles my jimmies. Horses and dragons and big dogs, basically. Not anything else, really. Horse genitalia of both genders kinda drives me mad with arousal. It's a combination of my size fetish, animal fetish, and ass fetish. Dick too. When it comes to dogs, I've always just wanted to be fucked by a big dog. Something about the taboo and how primal driven it all is for them. Like they're using me to satisfy an instinct. That's hot to me. I guess I'm into incest stuff, but only like brother-sister stuff. Since I've only have one child, I've always wanted a little sister to fuck, I guess.
Once again, I'm not sure if these are real, so take these with a grain of salt. As for actual responses from Adam himself, there hasn't been much from what I can find. There's this screenshot from Discord claiming that he's being cancelled though. Right now I'm being attacked by some ex-TribeTwelve fans who have been trying to cancel me for months. It's not true, I have the evidence against it, I got rid of my social media because I've been sick of it anyway, and I'm not going to take harassment every day from a cancellation attempt. There's also this statement from, I believe, his Tumblr. They're making it out because I have a little cis kink that I prey on younger aged people and am a pedophile. This is not true. I never cared about age to begin with, and I am not attracted to minors. It's a personal theoretical fantasy that I never actually act on or pursue in real life. I admit to have been flirty and sexual with several people online over the past few years. If they were minors, I was unbeknownst because I checked profiles for information and made sure they were of age. But it was always mutual, consensual, and not of malicious intent. I always asked before anything, there was no pressuring or predatory action. Although I also admit to talking to more than one person a few times, way more than I should have. It helped boost my self-esteem in a dark time, but since then it's been really grating on my conscience and I regret doing it. I was younger and didn't think things through. I didn't intend to hurt or harm or offend anyone. I apologize for being flirty and sexual with multiple people over the course of the past few years, especially if they were actually minors and I didn't know, and I apologize to all of the Patreon. But what's weird about this statement is that Adam claims he didn't know that the people that he spoke to were minors. However, when you look back at the logs with Eve, that's very contradictory because he did know what Eve's age was. That doesn't add up at all. Alright, now for the phone call that was released. This call was the one that Nightmind mentioned earlier in this statement concerning the allegation of date rape. For a little more context, the description reads, "This audio is from a handheld recording of a private stream between Rosner, the other individual on the phone, and the two others watching the phone call occur in real time. Both of those viewers can confirm that Rosner was made aware that the phone call would be recorded before the recording began. I am leaking this call because I believe it is essential for others to finally hear what Adam has to say instead of continuously waiting for a statement that will most likely never arrive." Now, this call is full of interesting tidbits in Adam defending himself for certain things that he supposedly did. However, while I was listening to this call, and please correct me if I'm wrong if you have also listened to this call, it doesn't seem like he directly admits to everything outright, but he has a habit of indirectly discussing how there are things that he did do that were bad, and talking about how he wasn't in a good place back then. But my favorite part to this entire call is this.
I was messed up back then.
And that's not an excuse. Autism's not an excuse, it's not a crutch.
It's not an excuse, but it's a reason. And I didn't understand what was going on with my head and what I was doing. But I mean, I still let it happen, so I'm not completely out of guilt. Because I do feel that guilt. And I am responsible, and I have to be held accountable. But yeah.
Do not use your mentality as a crutch. Do not use it as an excuse.
I can't say that it didn't contribute, because it totally did. But, you know, me as a conscious living being had to take part in that. And I have to acknowledge that, which I am right now.
Yes, Adam uses autism as a defense because that's how autism works, guys. Full on, please stop. Just because you have autism or you're on the spectrum doesn't mean that your moral compass all of a sudden disappears. The fact that this is used as a defense is very telling about Adam's character after everything he's been accused of. And as for many of the things that he did say in this call, it seems pretty simple on the surface. Adam constantly apologizes for the things that he did, but at the same time shifts the conversation as to how the situation has hurt him instead of his victims. He talks about how he feels cornered and how his life is the hell of his own creation.
While I struggle to find my way forward in this new crumbled hell world around me.
Right.
And I didn't understand what was going on with my head and what I was doing. But I mean, I still let it happen, so I'm not completely out of guilt. Because I do feel that guilt. And I am responsible, and I have to be held accountable.
And you do realize that this is a lot of people. And some of these people were, I mean, yes, were of age, you know, adults like your age now, that things happen to, and it accumulates. You've got to take responsibility for that.
I've been having to live with this every second of every day since it happened, and it's been, you know, completely crushing on my conscience. And, you know, after a dizzying time of thinking now, I can just truly see that a great deal of what happened was my fault.
Good.
And,
for realizing that.
Yeah, I didn't realize it before. Before I thought, like, my brain was convincing myself that, oh, they're overblowing this, but no, I was being a terrible person, and I was doing really bad stuff.
Yeah. Some of these people are still in therapy because of it. It's been 5 years, I think, to my knowledge, the earliest one.
Yeah, Adam, from everything that we can decipher here, this is your creation. You fucked up big time. There are people that you hurt that actively seek therapy, and TribeTwelve the series has been permanently tainted. Great job, Adam. Bravo. My conclusion to all of this, it just sucks. It really sucks. I wish none of this happened because I really liked watching this series and will probably never get the ending to it. Don't get me wrong, don't let the actions of Adam sour the series on its own. We separate the art from the artist, but I can't help but think about all of this while watching through it again. As far as I know, there hasn't been any further statements from Adam, and we probably won't get anything at all.
The best I can do is be refined in my accepting of responsibility of this, and having a proper response to it when I get around to actually drafting it in a responsible manner.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Because you know it's been 3 months, right?
According to Nightmind, he was supposed to make a statement around Christmas time, and such a response never came. Either way, rest in peace, TribeTwelve. I wish I could have seen it properly end. I'd like to, of course, thank my dear patrons. Big thanks to Gay Bitch, Spoken Mind, Queen, Danny Boy, Phoenix Heart, Coyote Lovely, Tudola, B, Hateful, RiddleOfLightning, DrunkleBee, and BusyRobotHands.